Kirby Triple Deluxe is an intriguing oddity in the growing 3DS library, but not amongst the franchise as a whole. Though it eagerly plays with the functions of the 3DS, it does very little to actually distinguish itself from its forebears. Like all Kirby games, this one is absolutely adorable, and like most, its linchpin not on platforming, which the series has been somewhat deceptively categorized as, but on the protagonist's transformative capabilities. Kirby's arsenal has seen welcome new additions, with traditional powers still intact, and while each level is laid out rather generically, the true enjoyment of the game stems merely from combat, with HAL, the developer behind Super Smash Bros., implementing very Super Smash Bros.-esque mechanics into the system. Sword Kirby, for example, may as well be Link, Skyward Strike and all. This varied approach makes levels so much more than a vapid, float over the entire course exercise. Instead, they become a practice ground to experiment with each of Kirby's emulated powers. Though practically any mainstay recurrent enemy can be subdued in a single strike, bosses offer a comparatively austere challenge, only made worse by a budding sense of invulnerability facilitated by the docile levels. The usually indomitable Kirby finds himself in very real danger when facing an enemy whose HP bar even surpasses his. In most circumstances, little discretion is required when combating a Waddle Dee, but in a boss bout, a loose cannon approach will almost invariably result in defeat. And while level difficulty stagnates almost out of the gate in Kirby Triple Deluxe, boss fights progressively become more challenging, with some of the late game levels being completely supplanted by throwback boss runs. Although most levels leave the impression of being bland and uninspired, each one joyfully takes full advantage of the 3DS's 3D capabilities, with frequent travel to and from the background and foregrounds, and interesting uses of Kirby's newly unearthed depth. A string of levels themed after a haunted mirror house presents illusions in the forefront, but an all-revealing mirror exhibits just where enemies lie in wait. Elsewhere, most boss fights task players with discerning between 2D and 3D or their judgments based on depth perception. But while Triple Deluxe is one of the better displays of 3D in the system's library, that does little to mitigate the fact that the game is not built to last. Every level plays out essentially identical, and even with segments that introduce gyroscopic controls or the new Hypernova ability, quickly fall into tedium. Though Hypernova Kirby provides some truly entertaining variety to a game content with the old, these sections are presented in such rapid succession that they too quickly grow tiring. Kirby Triple Deluxe is a great game for the Kirby traditionalist, and for those who aren't, can still be enjoyed in brief stints, generally dispersed between one another. But aside from great use of 3D and a selection of hit or miss additions, there's little to separate this game from any other in the series.